Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking into the episode. I'm happy you're here. I've been working on a document getting ready for a weekend retreat that I'm doing for a company that's actually gone through quite a bit of growth in the last while. Obviously, this weekend meeting is going to be me, the owner, the owner's partner, the person running the office, the person running the job sites, and the person running the manufacturing facility. So they've got a lot going on. I'm not going to tell you too much more about the company. Kind of doesn't matter. I mean, they're doing great, and they've grown a ton since we've been working together. And it's time to do this bigger event. So we're doing a retreat. Anyways, to do that, I put together a document for us to get everything kicked off. And if you'd like to get a copy of that, then you'll hear about it here in the episode. But more importantly, listen to the episode so that you understand how bigger companies are starting to pick apart their problems and how the big get bigger. Because there's a certain mindset, right? There's a certain way of thinking and doing that helps the big get bigger. And that's what I'm walking them through in this retreat. So anyways, I think you'll enjoy this episode, and we'll see you in there. Hey, everybody. How are you? Dominic here. Today's episode, I'm actually going to I'm going to tell you a little bit about an exercise that I'm doing with a company. It's a weekend retreat. Sounds fancy schmancy. But in order to do something like this, it's pretty intense. And you obviously want to make sure that there's a balance of everybody getting the value they need from the event. Also enough time for people to socialize and things like that. So you might think that facilitating an event like this, I'm going to be on stage all weekend. That's not really, I used to think that was how it would go, but really I found that the best value is a combination of structured time and free time. Now, this company's got some very serious growth goals, and the owner is very serious about it, which is great to see, because obviously then that rubs off on the rest of the team. Anyways, the exercise here is to find blind spots in the company. So I'm going to tell you this right up front. This exercise is only going to work if you've got 5 employees or more. Now, it'll be interesting to you if you have less than 5 employees, but you might just find it frustrating under 5 employees. And the reason for that is at 5 employees, you're at approximately $750,000 in total sales per year. Now, you might be a little higher than that. You might be a little lower than that if you're at 5 employees, but you can already see that there's a difference in systems. There's a difference in process. There's just, when we talk about getting to the next level in a business, well, those levels have little accelerators in them, and they've got things that pull at you. The things that are, here's a couple of the things that change as you go through the different levels of your business: people, process, strategy, cash, your access to capital, how you're using money, how you're collecting money, how you're billing, your billing systems, your contract systems, all that. So we got people, process, strategy, execution, and then cash. How are we using cash in the business, right? So if you're under 5 employees, this might not be the best episode for you, because you might find yourself a bit frustrated. Now, if you're listening to this and you're like, well, Dom, I've got 15 employees. Perfect. Stay tuned, because you're going to get a lot of this. And if you've got 7 employees, like, you're going to learn something no matter what. But the most value will come if you're in that range where you're somewhere in that $750 million range at a bare minimum, all the way up to infinity. Google is a number for, what is it, 10 bajillion or something like that, right? So what this kickoff event is meant to do is challenge everybody there. Now, everybody there, obviously the owner and the partner, are going to be there. And then you've got the leadership, office leadership, and floor leadership, and field leadership. So I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to tell too much, because it's their thing. But these are important places to get challenged on. So let me talk to you about how this report works. On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being, we're in some trouble, 5 being fantastic, then you're going to judge yourself. And actually, this is a free download. Sorry, the reason I'm doing this is I'd like you to do this on your own if you're ready to. If you're ready to see this kind of document on your own, and do the work on your own to see it, happy to share it with you. Excuse me. So that you can really start to pick apart the company on your own. And you've heard me say this many, many times. If you do decide to get this download and and work on it, there's really only one or two ways you can work on it. You can do it in a retreat, of course, like I'm doing with this company, but there's a lot of moving pieces there. You can do it a lot easier, but you got to print it off and leave the office. Standard from there. Now, if you've got business partners, have a meeting with them. Go for breakfast. Go for a lunch somewhere. Grab, sushi or a burger somewhere, but somewhere you can sit at a booth and not be interrupted and just talk through these points. There are 20 questions laid out here. There's 20 questions. Each of them is one specific question that focuses on one very specific part of the business. And then you're going to score yourself on each of these. And so you're going to get challenged about what's your company vision? What are your values? What's your ideal customer? And are we serving the ideal customer? Or are we getting pulled in a million directions, right? You're going to question yourself in the areas of cash, in marketing. And then further to that, in this questionnaire, in this worksheet, you're going to be forced to stop and think, what's our 10-year plan? What's our 3-year plan? What's our 1-year plan? Do we have one? And if we don't, when are we going to get one, right? Then again, you've heard me say this, process and people. Under the people category, we talk a little bit about meetings in this so that you have an understanding of how you're communicating internally. But either way, it's a simple, it's 2-page document. I don't want to overstate it here. It's not hard. 2 pages, 20 questions, but each question is made for you to sit there with your hot cup of coffee and think about it. I really want you to spend time thinking about your business. Now, we can get to the action later when you get back to the office, but there's no use running madly off in all directions. I want to have you focused instead of spreading your energy over everywhere. An example of spreading your energy everywhere and not accomplishing much versus focusing your energy can be found, summertime's approaching. Imagine if you went and stood out in the sun, you're mowing the lawn. So you decide to take off your shirt. You're out there for an hour. Maybe you get a bit of a sunburn. Maybe you turn a nice red color, but not really much happens, right? Well, now imagine that you take a magnifying glass and with the sun's rays, you focus that magnifying glass on a little bundle of leaves. Or if you were a cruel kid like me, on an ant or a spider web that you saw near you. What does the power of the sun do when it's focused? It's amazing, isn't it? All that solar energy is just floating around for all of us to use anytime, but it's only when you get a magnifying glass with the right tool that you can focus that energy in one place and you can create something else, right? In this case, smoke or fire or a very sad ant or spider. I sound like a horrible person. Anyways, this 20-page questionnaire is meant to do the same thing for you. So I want to challenge you, and you can do this yourself, but I want to challenge you on your vision, on your values, on your perfect customer, on how you're dealing with cash in the company and how you're dealing with marketing in the company, your 10-year, 3-year, 1-year plan, your process, your people, meetings, strategy, execution. And all of this at the end is going to allow you to score yourself. You're going to come out to a score yourself. You might score yourself as a 80% company or a 40% company against these measurement tools. And then you're saying, well, okay, great. So I score myself. What do I do? I don't actually know the answer. What do you do? It kind of depends on when you go back and look at the 20 questions and you go, you know what? I feel that we are weak in these 3 areas. I gave myself a score of 1 in the following areas. And you list them 1, 2, 3. What's the next thing you would do? You would prioritize those 3. Which one is the most important of those 3? And so now maybe we resort the order. Now we've got a new 1, 2, and 3. Let's call it A, B, and C. Great. So A clearly becomes the biggest priority for the return. So now when we go back to the shop, the job site, when we sit back at the estimating table, we go and focus on fixing item A in our business. It's really, when I talk about simple systems, I'm talking about simple systems. The kind of system that you follow this and it makes you do that next. It's just obvious what has to happen next. And that's what I'd like you to have. Anyways, if you want this report, shoot me a text message. You guys know how to do that, or send me an email. The answers are just going to pop out and your answers are going to be different, right? Somebody's going to do this report and they're going to say, oh my God, the leadership in my company, myself and my business partner just aren't aligned. Or it's a family business and me and this other family member aren't aligned. We're not pulling in the same direction. We're both pulling hard, but we're kind of pulling against each other. So we're not making the most of the company or our efforts, right? Now you jump one town over, there's somebody else sitting in their own coffee shop And they're also doing this exercise. And they're going to say, "Oy, we have a people problem. We have too many whiners. We have too many complainers. There's people trying to hold me back. I'm getting resistance from maybe my supervisor, my foreman. I'm trying to implement changes, something simple like job tracking, time tracking. And all I get is pushback and resistance. And quite frankly, it's tiring me." Okay, at least you've got something to start with. Now, from this, you could put together an action plan, right? What do I do next? You jump one more town over, and somebody else who's in the same trade or a different trade than you is doing the same self-assessment. They're doing the same thing, but their answers come out a little bit different. Theirs is going to say, "I have a customer problem." I mean, we have no problem getting customers, but they're too small. They're spread out all over town. We spend half our time driving from job site to job site or servicing customers that are in the wrong areas, servicing the wrong kind of customers. And it's frustrating. And I don't think we're ever getting ahead. So you see, every company is unique in that way, but it's also the same in other ways. Every company out there, yours, mine, and the guy across the street, we all have to deal with the same issues as owners. Time and time management for the owner. So time to produce things and personal time for the owner. We've got people, which is team, right? We've got dealing with money. How do we deal with money? What's our money issues? Are we tracking it? Are we making enough? Are we covering our expenses? Are we pulling from our own personal savings to fund the company, right? So you got time, team, money. Then you've got some sort of strategy. I talked about that. It's actually one of the questions here in the 20 is, what's your strategy? What's your big plan? You started the company. What's your plan? And if you don't have one, or if you've already burned through all the energy of the first plan, it's just time to resharpen the plan and refocus it, right? So you've got the major issues of time, team, money, strategy, sales, and marketing. It all can be boiled down to those simple things, but you need to take action, just as I need to take action. All of us need to take action. The most important thing you can do in this case is obviously figure out what needs to be done, but then go do it. You would be horrendously frustrated if you figured out what needed to be done and it just sat there. It just sat there. That's where you need the accountability of putting a process in place to make sure you're picking away at it over time. Anyways, I want you to have this. It's called blind spots. And the way to get it, just shoot me a text message. Now, listen, the cell phone number's changed. I had to change the cell. So the new number to get this download, if you want it, is 315-903-7853. And just send me the keyword blind spots, and then I'll shoot it back to you. And you can take it at your own pace. Or like I said, do it with a business partner, do it with an investor, do it with a mentor. You know, if you've got somebody who you really trust in business, your father-in-law, a good friend or something, sit down and do this assessment with them and really slow down for a second and think about your company. That's why I ask you to leave the office. I ask you to leave the office because I need you to be in a different environment. I need you to be in a different place where people can't easily find you, where your phone can't keep ringing, where people can't stop by, people can't drop in, sales reps can't just cruise on in. I need you to be somewhere that you can be sort of safe and focused on the future of the business, because it's up to you. It's up to you. You're going to be the one that dictates the future of the business. And if you really do want to get to the next level, you've probably already, it's the reason you're listening to my podcast, because my podcast, that's exactly what my podcast is about. But you might find yourself not necessarily using these words, but having this feeling. And that feeling would be this: look, I'm running $1 million business. I'll just pick that number at random. You could be running a $10 million business. It's going to work no matter what. You might be saying, look, I'm running this business and it's $1 million today, but we're not getting ahead. We're the same company as we were last year and 2 years ago. And the reason for that might just be because you're running $1 million business on $800,000 systems. And that's why every time you approach $1 million in sales again, the wheels start to fall off, because you need new, simple systems. You need new foundational elements, right? The new building is going up taller, but we don't have a solid foundation. So things start to crack and fail, and we drop back down to our natural level. So anyways, if you'd like this, send me a text. It's the easiest way to get me. But the cell number's changed, like I said, 315-903-7853, and just say blind spots, and I'll send this off to you and you can work on it on your own. All right. Thanks for checking in. I hope you appreciate it. Listen, this this really is one of the greatest times ever to be in business for yourself. We are at a time right now, probably one of the freest we've ever been. You think about how lucky our generation has been and all the opportunity in front of us. I know people talk about the economy going up and the economy going down, and those things are important. But I can control what I can control. I can control my marketing. I can control my sales. I can control how my engineering or drafting department does what they do. I can control how my crew acts on the job site. I can control the kind of customers we get. I can control how much we charge for our products. Nobody has the right to stop me. Nobody can control that for me. And there's many other countries in the world where that's just not the case. You have all the freedoms in front of you. There's absolutely nothing holding you back. So take advantage of it to the extent that you want, right? We live in a very safe place. We have all the opportunity in front of us. There's people with expendable cash. I just heard about somebody doing a $380,000 closet. $380,000 for their closet. It's where they're going to hang their underwear or fold them. I guess it'd be interesting if they hung it. You know what I mean? Like a $300,000 closet. And then there's other people in this world who just want to do a wire rack. You've got all the choices in the world. The wire rack companies aren't going out of business, and the people making super high-end closets or doing home renos aren't going out of business either. So everything is in front of you. It's just up to you to decide to go get it. So decide, and I'll be there anytime you want. All right, thanks for checking in, folks. I appreciate you being a listener. And if you want this thing that I've been working on, I think you'll enjoy it. We'll talk to you soon. Well. I hope you enjoyed that. Definitely one of the shorter episodes I recorded. But again, if you want that, go ahead and grab it from me. If you don't, but I love having you as a listener. Thank you so much. I always like it when people reach out and shoot me messages and say hi or give me updates on what they're doing. Because it's right now I'm talking to a computer screen and a fuzzy microphone. And so when a human reaches out, says, "Hey, Dom, I heard this and I did this and this is the result I got." I like that. I might be one of the luckiest people in the entire world because I get to do this. I get to do what I'm made to do. Now, I love starting and running my own businesses as well, but I really love helping other people do it. I never even knew this existed when I was a kid, but I'm so happy that I'm fortunate enough to get to do this and have impact the way I do. So, if you get a chance, shoot me a message. Even on your darkest day, shoot me a message and tell me what's up. And I'm always here. All right. Thanks, folks.